Turi, hi. Focus. Да, можно начать, я думаю.
Меня слышно, это Кристина?
Да, сейчас слышно хорошо.
Хорошо, тогда я буду начинать. Hello, dear colleagues. Greetings from Alaska. Thank you for joining us for our third Arctic Business Relations Circle Zoom call of 2021. Let's all check on the settings and make sure you can see and hear us all right. I need to apologize right away for not having my video on. I have technical difficulties, but I hope you can hear me fine. If you will have problems hearing me, please let me know, especially for the interpreters. I am very glad to see all of you. So please make sure to check on the translation feature. English translation simultaneous, English-Russian simultaneous translation is available during this meeting. 2 interpreters are translating us already in the real time. You should be able to navigate that feature from your computer as needed. Switch from English to Russian and back by pushing the globe sign on the bottom of your screen. Please make sure you know how to do that before we start, so you can switch without problem.
Кристина, Андрей Криворотов, вопрос.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, it's not a, простите, это не столько вопрос, небольшое сообщение. Дмитрий Борисович Быстров попросил меня сообщить.
Mr. Bystrov asked me to inform you that now he is having some technical problems. He can hear everybody, but he cannot speak. He is now working on that, and as soon as he is able to join, he will indicate, and he is apologizing. So thank you.
Let me start with some ground rules at the beginning and technical items for this meeting, so everybody are aware of what we are doing here. Please remember to speak slower and pause sometimes for our interpreters. Respect one another person's view and opinion. Stay on point and on time, please. Please keep your comments brief so that all can participate. We would like to hear from all of you. We have great agenda for today. We have 6 speakers. Each presenter will have about 10 minutes, and then we should have enough time for questions and the open dialogue at the end. Please use raise your hand feature if you need to speak or have a question and don't want to interrupt, or simply type your question in the comments and chat box to save the time. We will be able to reply right away. Say your name before you speak so we know who is talking. And this meeting is going to be recorded primarily for Northern Forum members who had missed it due to the time difference. We will send you a link to the recording after the meeting. Okay, I think we have a good number of participants to do the introduction today, since we missed it last time. And let's start with that. Good morning again, good afternoon, good evening, good night to all of you, especially Northern Forum, Vladimir, being up so early. We appreciate that a lot. Welcome to the third Arctic Business Relations Circle Zoom call of 2021. My name is Kristina Байбородова. I am a partner and the owner of Arctica company in Anchorage, Alaska. This company was founded in November of 2018. The purpose of Arctica company is to provide consulting and advising services relating to Arctic business relations and partnerships, Arctic business development, and Arctic policy and diplomacy development, helping companies to grow and expand their businesses into emerging Arctic markets, in socially and environmentally sustainable manner. Together with Vladimir Vasilyev of Northern Forum, at the end of last year, we decided to initiate this project, Arctic Business Relations Circle. We felt that the importance in catching up, exchanging common challenges and ideas for the future, and simply for all of us to stay connected, since we can't go to all of those conferences, network, and see each other and operate as we used to. We organized our first 2-hour Zoom call in December and immediately realized and felt the need for more. So we decided to build this project, the special Zoom platform, to connect regularly, monthly, and to build stronger partnerships with all of you. We believe it's very important to stay connected and always look for new business opportunities. And we are happy to offer this platform for our regular meetings. I would like to spend some time right now and go around the room, the virtual room, and have short introductions for all of us, so we know who is present at the meeting, and it's easier for us to have a dialogue and respond to questions when we know who is here. Maybe just state your name, organization you represent, and where are you from. That should be enough. And to make this process organized and easier, after you're done speaking, please pass a word to next person you see on your screen, anybody you can choose. So I already introduced myself. My name is Kristina Baybarodova again. I'm representing Arctica company, and I am in Anchorage, Alaska. Mr. Vasilyev, I pass the word to you.
Так, ну, доброго времени суток всем.
Hello, everybody. My name is Vladimir Vasilyev. I'm the acting executive director of the Northern Forum. Alexey Asintsev. Please introduce yourself. My name is Alexey Asintsev, closed corporation Ferment. We process reindeer.
You say Iceland.
Yes.
You said Iceland. Sorry about that. I'm so far away from you, but so close though. We're friends in spirit and more. So my name is Halldór Jóhannsson. I know many of you and many friendly faces that I see already on the screen, and we'll see more. I represent, or I direct Arctic Portal and ArcData. We are involved in data management, data outreach projects, and consulting. And we've been working very closely with the Northern Forum, and look forward to further cooperation, and not least throughout the upcoming Russian chairmanship. So I look forward to this discussion. Thank you. And next is Andrei, my friend, Krivorotov.
Thank you, Halldór. Hello, everybody. I am Andrei Krivorotov from Moscow, Russia. I'm an assistant professor in international energy cooperation in Moscow State Institute of International Relations, MGIMO. And I also have worked in oil and gas business, including notably Gazprom's Russian Natural Gas Company since 2003. And I'm also a researcher on Arctic economic development and Arctic business cooperation. And I pass the words to Katerina Balabanova from Canada, please.
Hello, everyone. And I'll represent myself in English. My name is Catherine Balabanova. I'm the regional director of the Toronto chapter and national coordinator for Canada Eurasia Russia Business Association. It's a non-for-profit independent member-based association that enhances trade and investment between Canada, Russia, and all of the former USSR countries. We have a lot of members who work in the Arctic and partners as well. Thank you. Passing the word to Karen Berenstein from ARCT.
Yes, hello, I'm Karin Berensen, and I have a startup, ARCT, working on digital dialogue tools. And also I'll be presenting later. So I'm from Norway, situated now in the mountains trying to stay away from the pandemic. So looking really forward to meeting all you guys again. Thank you. Next to me is Alexander. I can't read it in Russia. Maybe you pick one. Tatiana Federi, I'll try it then.
Okay, thank you for choosing. I'm from Murmansk, Russia, and I'm vice president of Northern Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So what to say, we are dealing with my priority to develop projects, cooperation projects in Arctic areas. And that is why today's meeting is very interesting for me. And our Chamber of Commerce and Industry is based on membership of almost 160 companies of the Murmansk region of different spheres of their activities. And my priority is to develop partnership projects, international partnership projects. Yes, and I will give a word to Derek Norberg.
Great, thank you, Tatiana. Greetings to everyone. I'm Derek Norberg, the president of Council for U.S.-Russia Relations here in Seattle, Washington, and also the executive director of the Russian-American Pacific Partnership Forum between the regions of the Russian Far East and Zabaikalia and the states of the Western United States. And I'll pass it over to Paul.
Yes, Paul Foose from Anchorage, Alaska, and I'm representing the LU Corporation. It's a indigenous native corporation. But I'm also president of the Marine Exchange of Alaska. We do vessel tracking, monitoring, and emergency response in the Arctic. And I'm also a member of the Arctic Economic Council. Over.
Paul, if you can pass the word, anybody next on your screen, please.
Paul, pass it to Dmitry Karastyalov.
Доброго времени суток, дорогие друзья, рад всех видеть.
Hello, dear friends. I'm glad to see and to hear everybody. I will speak Russian because my English is not very good for morning in Kamchatka. I represent the government of Kamchatka Krai. I'm an advisor to the governor to Kamchatka on business associations and chambers of trade and commerce. And I'm also responsible for developing the development strategy of Kamchatka Krai. Thank you. Please pass the word to Dmitry Borisovich. I had some technical problems due to this distant. I left my computer and camera in my office and I couldn't handle it with Google. But my extremely smart young daughter was able to help me, so I had to join you a little bit later. I'm sorry about that. I'm extremely happy to see everybody. I haven't seen Derek for years. Thank you, Mr. Vasilyev, for organizing the call. Good to see Tatiana Federi. So a few words about myself, Dmitry Bystrov. In English, I call myself regional director for external relations of Russian Chamber of Commerce. Although in Russian it's a little bit different. I'm responsible for bilateral cooperation between our chambers of commerce with all countries like USA, Canada, and Northern Europe. And I'm also responsible for cooperating with other countries. And as long as I'm responsible for all these countries, I'm responsible for the Arctic International Business Cooperation. So briefly, that's like that. I was born in Murmansk and I lived there for a long time. And also I lived in Canada and in Norway twice for 6 years. And I've been to the United States many times. So I consider myself an Arctic person. I've been everywhere but in Iceland. Thank you. So now to Andrei Kazakov.
Hello, good evening. I'll take it in English. My name is Andrei Kazakov, and I'm glad to see quite many of my colleagues and even friends here today. Welcome for invitation. I represent the High North Center at North University Business School. We are a member of Northern Forum since some years and participate in many meetings due to this COVID situation and all these restrictions. Now we are glad to be digitally involved in our discussion. Thank you. Next, what I see actually, the persons who will not be yet presented, I can pass it to, for example, let me see, maybe Alena Kolosova.
Всем здравствуйте. Меня зовут Колосова Алена. Я
My
работаю...
name is Alena Kolosova. I work with the Northern Forum and I live in Yakutia.
Передаю приветствие Александре Пономаревой.
And I would like to give the floor to Alexandra Panomaryova.
Yes, hello everyone. I also am a specialist of the Northern Forum and I work here at the Secretariat in Yakutsk. And I give the word to who hasn't introduced yet. I think it's Isat Dui. Is it correct?
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, hi, I'm Isat Dui. I'm a reindeer herder here in Norway. And well, I have worked on some projects with the International Center for Reindeer Husbandry. Yeah. So it's about reindeer. Thank you. I will give it to Katarina Soproneva. That's the last person, I think.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry for being late a little bit. I'm Ekaterina Sofronieva. I'm a coordinator of the Northern Youth Forum. I live and work in Finland, but I'm from Yakutia. So glad to see you here.
Вижу Максим Юрьевич.
I can see Maxim Yuryevich. Hello, dear participants. Thanks for inviting. My name is Maxim Grichane. I am an advisor to the Minister for the Development of the Far East and Arctic of Russia. And now Nadezhda Kumashova. Nadezhda, please introduce yourself for our participants.
Так, возможно, какие-то технические проблемы.
Okay, maybe there are some technical problems with the microphone. I know that Nadezhda is also from Murmansk Chamber of Trade and Commerce. So yes, she's.
So unfortunately, maybe she has some problems with connecting.
Okay, I'm here, but
good. We see
I'm
you.
familiar with the system.
Отлично.
Хорошо. I think
Кристина, можно
everybody.
уже начинать.
Yeah. I think everybody introduced themselves, and if we'll get more participants, we'll give them a word for introductions later. So based on the growing interest in regional business development and Arctic communities relationship development, this month, March, we would like to talk about economic opportunities for Arctic countries, reputation and partnership building in those. And I would like to pass the floor to Vladimir Vasilyev right now, Acting Executive Director of the Northern Forum, for the welcome words, and then we'll start working on our agenda. So, Vladimir, the floor is yours.
Да, спасибо, Кристина. Буквально несколько.
Thank you, Christina. Just a few words, not to lose time. I'm very grateful to Christina for this new initiative within the frame of the Northern Forum to boost the business cooperation. And we would like to establish this business relationship between the Northern Forum countries and the countries on the Arctic Council, be most proactive and help our regions to develop in a dynamic way. Especially given the coming Russian chairmanship in the Arctic Council. So the Northern Forum is entrusted with great hopes, and the Ministry of International Affairs and the Ministry of the Russian Far East Development has charged us to arrange a number of major events, the Arctic Resilience Forum in 2022, the Arctic Energy Summit, which is scheduled for the early 2023. So of course we will keep you posted about the timing of these events. Also, the Chamber of Commerce of Russia is holding the first conference of the Arctic Chambers of Commerce. And of course, the Northern Forum is going to be the co-organizer of this event. The senior executive, Nikolai Korchunov, asked us to arrange the Youth Startup Forum. And we hope that we will cooperate on this with the Russian Chamber of Commerce and with all of you. So the Northern Forum has its own international platform, the Northern Forum Sustainable Development Forum, which will take place this September in Yakutsk for the third time. So it will be held in a mixed format, but this forum is also now on the calendar of the Russian chairmanship. So another ambitious proposal from Nikolai Viktorovich is that the Northern Forum takes creation of the brand made in the Arctic. So we need your expertise and your advice on how to do this. So what it should be linked with. So of course, we also have very close connections with the Arctic portal with Haldor. So this portal helps us to develop our site, and they work on business directory of the Arctic. So the Arctic portal is responsible for the technical informational support of our initiatives. And I'm really, really glad today that we have a very good geographical representation. And also we have managed to almost complete this circle and to cover all time zones. And I'm hopeful that we are going to have very fruitful cooperation today. So this is just in brief, but of course we are going to listen to the presentations and to discuss them, and we will see where to move. So Christina, you can give the floor to the speakers. Thank you.
I would like to introduce Dmitry Korostelyov, advisor to the governor of Kamchatka region on economic development strategy. Дмитрий Анатольевич, я вам слово предоставляю. Дмитрий Анатольевич, как слышно меня? Ваше слово.
Слышно меня? Здравствуйте еще раз, уважаемые коллеги.
Hello again, dear colleagues. So the connection is not that stable. So hello again. I am trying to share my screen. Can you see it? Yes, we can see your presentation and we can hear you. So I will scroll through my presentation. So it is in English, and I'm going to comment in Russian. So Kamchatka is not an Arctic region, but we believe that we are on the border of the ice ocean, and we are the entry to the Arctic routes. So we are situated in the Russian Far East, and those who haven't been to our wonderful region do come.
Просто я не
Видно,
совсем...
все хорошо. Видно.
Отлично. Итак, Камчатка – это 464 тысячи квадратных километров.
Kamchatka has the area of over 400,000 square kilometers with the population over 300,000 people. So its territory is comparable to the area of Sweden. We have it's home to a number of ethnic groups, Chukchi, Koryak, Even, and we have most unique nature, and it attracts a great number of tourists. So our volcanoes, we have over 300 volcanoes, with 29 of them being active. So the main settlements are Petropavlovsk, Kamchatsky, which is the capital. We have Yelizovo, which is a tourist center, and Viluchinsk. So the main economic industries are fishing, tourism, and transport and logistics center. As for fishery, Kamchatka is the leading region in Russia in terms of fish harvest and production. So annually we harvest over 1.5 million tons, which makes 23% of the total catch in Russia and the third of the catch in the Russian Far East. As for our foreign trade, our constant partners are the People's Republic of China, Republic of Korea, and Japan. And in our strategy, we have great hopes for the Northern Sea route. So we are working on the development of our port facilities. And also we are working on enhanced partnerships with other Russian regions along the Northern Sea route, Murmansk, Arkhangelsk, St. Petersburg. And we are grateful to the Ministry on the Russian Far East development. Here you can see Kamchatka in the global context. So here you see the transport routes and transport lines active now. So we believe that the National Arctic Transport Line can actually have two main spots, Murmansk and Petropavlovsk. So we have great plans on port hub. Here, transshipment terminal for liquefied natural gas to export it to the Asian Pacific. So this presentation is loaded in the chat. So I will answer your questions. So now I'm just scrolling my presentation. So tourism is the second priority in our strategy. Kamchatka today is already a place attracting many tourists. And at the same time, we are enhancing our tourist facilities, catering services, hotels, and training of the staff.
Здесь уникальным местом на Камчатке является туристический кластер Паратунка.
Paratunka cluster is an unparalleled place. It is home to over 50 hotels. It has thermal springs. And now we are renovating this recreational cluster.
Ну и, конечно, кто был на Камчатке сегодня.
And those who have already visited Kamchatka have seen that our airport is not that modern yet. But in 2023, we hope to complete the construction of a new airport. We have, for example, a project with the Republic of, with an Arabic country on development of the Falcon Center. All our economic projects are implemented in the frame of circular economy. we understand that the very vulnerable economic framework of our economy in Kamchatka, and so that's why we are working on this closed circle. And we have good examples. For example, waste recycling in fisheries. So we have unique omega-3 additives, and also geothermal energy has great potential. So we are working on volcanology a lot. How to use the volcano energy. Kamchatka is also rich in various research institutes, volcanology, cosmophysics, agriculture. So that was a really brief presentation of my region, but Vladimir has my contacts and many other participants of this session. So I would rather answer your questions. And I always keep in touch for further communication. So thank you for this opportunity to present Kamchatka, and welcome to Kamchatka.
That's great. Thank you, Dmitry Anatolievich, for your presentation. I think we'll leave the questions for the end. After all the presenter, we can have a questions session, unless we have a quick question right now from anybody. And if you want to raise the question right now, you can raise your hand, use the raise your hand feature, or just ask a question.
Yes, this is Paul, Paul Foose from Alaska, and I would just like to ask about, we used to have direct flights from Anchorage, and it was very useful to us in our business cooperation, but those have been canceled. So I wondered if you have any information on when we might be able to resume those, or how you're handling the issue of being able to receive flights into Peptide, Kamchatka.
Я, к большому сожалению, не слышал Пола. У меня что-то со связью было. Если можно, Владимир Николаевич, выручите, повторите вопрос, пожалуйста.
Дмитрий Анатольевич, Пол спросил насчет рейсов из Камчатки на Аляску. Раньше были прямые рейсы. Есть ли какая-то информация о возобновлении таких рейсов?
Да, спасибо, Пол.
Thank you, Paul. I'm smiling because this is a question not to Kamchatka. This is a question to be addressed to Vladimir Vasilyev. Because it was Yakutia Airlines project. At the moment, the Russian Far East is witnessing the transformation of all airlines to the United Airline Company. So all the Far Eastern regions are working on the establishment of one big company, and I'm sure they will perform also international flights. And since Alaska is so close to us, hopefully they are going to work on this. I have no knowledge of the plans of Yakutia Airlines. We do hope that in the summer period there will be flights Yakutsk, Petropavlovsk, Anchorage. As for further plans, yes, I would be really interested if the United Far Eastern Company performs these flights on a regular basis. Yes, we are working on Aurora Airlines company, and Yakutia is going to be part of that company. So, but well, Yakutia Airlines is working on obtaining the license for international flights. So the problem is that this May, the takeoff line is going to be renovated. They are starting the renovation of the runway in Yakutsk. So now they are thinking there will be no direct flights even to Moscow, St. Petersburg. We are going to fly through Novosibirsk. So there are certain difficulties, but we will keep all the regions posted on the latest developments, because Yakutia is planning a lot of events. And
thank you, Vladimir. I would like to pass a word right now to comment more on this question to Mark Dudley, who joined us. He knows more information on Yakutia Airlines and Alaska Russian Forest flights. Mark, if you can introduce yourself first and then maybe have a couple of words to add. I don't know if he has
Марк написал комментарий в чате. Все можете прочитать.
Okay,
so Mark actually has the comment in the chat.
Maybe we'll get back to that at the end of our discussions. Now I would like to pass the word to Isa Turi, my dear friend from Norway. He worked a lot and works still, I think, with International Center for Reindeer Husbandry, which I had the pleasure working with him and his team on bringing reindeer husbandry back to Alaska at some point. We stopped working on that, but maybe, Isa, if you can talk about what you do in Norway, how is your work at center, and maybe talk a little bit about what we were trying to do together to bring back reindeers to Alaska, basically.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I work a little bit in it's called International Center for Reindeer Husbandry. I have worked on some projects there with them, and I can tell you a little bit about what it is. The Association of World Reindeer Herders was established in 1997, I think it was, when they held their first meeting in Nadim, I think it was, in the Yamal region. And it was made to help reindeer herders around the world, or connect reindeer herders around the world, and help their understand each other, and also to work together on solving, similar issues that we have, or with the similar problems that are faced all over the world for reindeer herders. So, and of course, in this way, we found there is a lot of ways of doing reindeer herding. So this being a businessman, I thought I'd talk a little bit more about business side of the reindeer herding. Of course, reindeer herding, as it is spread over 10 countries and all over the northern Russia, there are a lot of different ways of doing reindeer herding. For instance, you have the tundra reindeer herding, which is well, my area is like a tundra reindeer herding area, where you have bigger herds the people have, and meat production is maybe the main business that you do here. But in other parts, like in the forest areas and stuff like that, you have different uses of reindeer that need different ways of doing business. Of course, you cannot, when you have smaller herds, you cannot rely on meat being your main production. Maybe it's, selling cheese or something made out of reindeer or skins or something like that instead. So first understanding that the reindeer herding industry, if I should say it like that, is so different from each other according to where you are in the world. It is to understand how the business should be done for reindeer herders. Yes. And as I said, I have been working with this International Center for Reindeer Husbandry on different projects, but all of those projects have this one thing in common, is to enhance or to try to make reindeer herding reindeer herders cope better in the new world, or in these times that we are living in, with rapid changes in the climate and also a lot of new developments, how to meet these new developments. All about this northern sea route that was just talked about. Well, these are also things that could be concerning also, but you also have to look at the opportunities. How can reindeer herding gain from such things as the northern sea routes? Because they're already up and going. It's only a matter of getting ports into different places so you can get your products out, the reindeer herders. It's mainly what I think about. So these are also opportunities that we have to look into, and can such ports be in places where reindeer herders can take advantage from it, and not only be ports for other development to have the opportunity to start up in these Arctic areas where today, well, there isn't much other than reindeer herding. Especially I think in the northern parts of Russia, you don't have so much other development there. Than you have to correct me if I'm wrong here, but then reindeer herding industry. So and with this what this sea routes does is to open up for industries to develop in the north. But how can these sea routes also be? How can reindeer herding take advantage from these? It's also, or how could ports be put in such places where reindeer herding actually can take advantage from this? It's also one thing to think about. And yes, we were also talking about this when we were in Barrow, Alaska, about this. They were wanting to develop a new port there. I don't know how far that has come, but also there is reindeer herding in Alaska, as we know, but also there are a lot of places in Alaska that don't have it anymore after these well, how can I put it, after the new laws come in there, and or how to put it nicely, Yeah, well, at least there in some places they've stopped with reindeer herding. They were poorly advised by scientists how to do reindeer herding, and of course it didn't work in all of the places. You may only have reindeer herding in this very easy specific in these islands and in the Seward Peninsula, where you can do it with less work, I suppose. But yeah, developing or re-establishing in those areas where it was before until the 1950s, I guess. It was a very interesting project, but on our side it was financial. That's what it came to. That stopped that line of work, that work. The continuing on the working, but we have to pick up that thread again, as you said, Christina. So that's
okay. Thank you, Isa. Thank you. I would like to give a word right now to Dmitry Bystrov, Regional Director, International Cooperation Department of Chambers of Commerce of the Russian Federation.
Спасибо большое. Я, наверное, буду говорить по-русски.
Thank you very much. I think that I will speak Russian because I think that most people here, they are from Russia, but it depends what is best. Well, first of all, I would like to once again express my gratitude, and I'm happy to see everybody who I know, and a couple of words about what Isa Turi has been speaking about. I would like to ask him to send my greetings to Anders Oskal and Professor Mattison, who are absolutely outstanding people. As I was told by Norwegian Sami, Professor Mattison knows about reindeer more than all Sami taken together. This is how outstanding this person is in terms of knowing everything about reindeer. I would like to be very brief with my message. First of all, I would like to clarify. Mr. Vasilyev said that this is our first. This is going to be our first international conference of the Arctic Chambers of Commerce and Business Associations. But no, we have done it once before together with my beloved Murmansk Chamber of Commerce in November 2013. And yes, that was the first conference of Arctic business business associations and chambers of commerce. It convened the Norwegian Russian Chamber of Commerce, Lapland Chamber of Commerce, represented by, I think everybody knows, Mr. Timo Rautajoki, president of Lapland Chamber of Commerce. Also, we had representatives from the Chamber of Commerce of Norrbotten from Sweden. And again, I have to say that it was there where I made friends who plays a very special role in our activity with Halder Johansson, who is the director of the Arctic portal. I'm very glad to see Halder, and I'm glad that he has been engaged in our activities since then and keeps being very active. It took us all day in 2013 to discuss all these issues. We had a lot of academic organizations and businesses from Murmansk region And also we had the representatives from the Canadian embassy. I still cannot involve the real Canadians from Canada, unfortunately, and we didn't have Alaskans there. But as people say in Murmansk, if we're holding something Arctic, then we have to have Canadians and Alaskans. Otherwise, this is not a complete Arctic event. This is just something European. And of course, as long as Russia is not only European, but also Asian countries, it has to be some Eurasian event then. But still, we had a lot of discussions, and I came to a conclusion that all our discussions were dedicated to two very interesting topics to all Arctic stakeholders. The first one is the interaction of business and power in the Arctic regions. How Arctic regions of different countries get subsidies from their governments and some benefits for the Arctic businesses. How state mechanisms work. So this was the exchange of such interaction practices, which is very interesting. And to put it simply, what businessmen from what countries were able to get more benefits from their central governments, and what were their arguments. And we could see from our discussions, we could see that Finland had a very good experience in that. And the second topic was the exchange of some ideas, which is also very important. Who and what does something interesting in the north? When I came to Norway with the delegation of Yamal, Chamber of Trade and Commerce, and we had some businessmen in our delegation, one of their tasks was how to process reindeer skins, to take everything from reindeer. Like Danish people say, we can process reindeer and other animals as good that we can use everything. So that's what Yamal wanted to do, and Isa Turi knows that reindeer skin is very difficult to process. And our Norwegian summit told, they told us, guys, you have to go to Finland to Finnish summit because we cannot process skins as good as they can in Finnish Lapland. This is one of the examples of what you can learn from each other. And also Isat mentioned about how reindeer herding was tried to be introduced in Alaska and in among American Inuit, where it is underdeveloped. This is again quite a good idea. And also in the north, there are a lot of different startup ideas. Who has come up with what? So because we have to be honest, maybe it would be a little bit provocative. I remember when I worked in Norway during perestroika and peace and friendship, and my old friend Andrei Krivorotov, who is present here, and how we with our Norwegian friends were dreaming about flights from Murmansk to Tromsø, Arkhangelsk, and Rovaniemi, and thousands and hundreds of thousands of tourists between the Arctic regions, and the businesses will visit each other. But it didn't happen because it is difficult for the Arctic regions to trade between themselves because they don't have a lot of things to trade. Maybe I'm again being a little bit provocative, but all northern and Arctic regions, they produce more or less the same things. So it's difficult to imagine what Chukotka can sell to Alaska, for example. My friends in Kamchatka told me that Oregon, yes, this is something because it is easier for us to bring fruit from Oregon, but there is nothing we can bring from Alaska, for example. So it is like more interesting for us to bring fruit and vegetables from China. So here we should get rid of some illusions, I think, but still we have to think about the options for cooperation. Again, something provocative. Again, together with Mr. Krivorotov in 1992, we came to Norway called at a place where the local people call the belly button of the earth. It's Fylke Troms, some 50 kilometers from Tromsø. It's where the border between Norway, Finland, and Sweden. And that's where they had some small conference convening Swedes, Finns, and us from Oslo. I worked in Russian trade representative at that time, and I asked our Norwegian hosts, maybe you have some great cooperation here between northern Sweden and northern Finland and Norway. And they said, oh yes, we keep coming together. And what do you do? Well, what we do, we drink vodka together and eat something and meet each other as friends. But are there any economic contacts, some trade? Basically, no, because we all have fish, wood, and lingonberry. So we cannot sell it to each other, and that's all that we have. So in reality, such project between northern Norway and Sweden, it's bringing Swedish iron ore from Kiruna to Narvik port. So this is a project from east to west. And in general, there are no good flows in the Arctic. Can we establish such flows? This is the issue to discuss. So to remind you that the exchange of practices is really very interesting. For example, in the sphere of tourism, there are a lot of ideas in Lapland Chamber of Commerce and also in northern Norway. I know that there are a lot of interesting things to learn about in the Arctic Canada. So that's the information about how the businesses of other countries in the Arctic live. I think that this is quite promising. I will not speak about what is done by Murmansk Chamber of Commerce and how they facilitate the development of business cooperation, because Tatiana, Federi, and Nadezhda Kumashova will tell you about it, because they have come up with some great ideas. And to be brief, what Vladimir has mentioned already, that in November this year, maybe not October, but November, we plan to once again bring together international conference of Arctic chambers of trade and commerce and business associations, and to organize this event in the Republic of Komi in the city of Syktyvkar, and of course invite everybody from our session today. We cannot do it right now because we have not set the dates yet. Here we have to coordinate everything inside the system of our trade chambers of trade and commerce, and we would ask Mr. Grichani to put it on the agenda, on the calendar, with the most convenient date, not to overlap with other events, and that our international guests could attend also. So as soon as we set the dates, we will of course send invitations to everybody via the Northern Forum, and we will disseminate it in the Arctic, and we will announce it. And the system of our chambers will help us, and the Russian Ministry for the Development of the Far East and the Arctic also promised their support. But as long as we don't have the dates, I'm just trying to explain why we still don't extend our invitations. So I will be glad to answer any questions if you have. I hope that the interpreters were able to translate what I was saying for our international guests to be able to understand.
And I think I want to pass the word to the rest of the presenters on the program, and let's keep the questions to the end. So we'll make sure everybody have enough time to speak. So the next on our agenda is Karin Berensen from Norway. She's a founder and the principal of ARCT. And Karin, floor is yours.
Thank you. You can hear me. I'll go through my experiences from the Arctic, and also I'll share a presentation where I'll go through some stakeholder dialogue and reputational partnership building, since that was the theme today also.
Great. Yes, we can hear you fine. Please.
Okay, super. Sometimes my microphone gets a bit skewed, I hear. So you can see my presentation.
Yes.
But why isn't it in presentation mode? There it is. Wait a minute. I'm going to actually give you a small workshop today, a teaser workshop. So if I can use you, Christina, as an interviewer a couple of times, and maybe Vladimir as well, and ask you a couple of questions. My experience is mainly from the oil and gas industry. I worked as a regulatory compliance manager in Alaska, and that's where I really got interested in both stakeholder engagement and all the comparing regulations between the countries, Norway and Alaska, and also understanding more about the issues of Northwest around the Arctic. I have a master's degree in physics, and the photo on the upper part here shows when I was a bachelor we built a sun catcher on the roof of the Institute of Physics. And still, I regret that my professor couldn't give me a master degree in solar energy, because I would really have loved to do that. I became a biophysicist and started to work in many different areas. And also it took me to many Alaska villages. And this one is from Point Lay with minus 33 degrees on the stakeholder engagement meeting. Learnings, what I can share with you, just the differences between the countries in the Arctic. I've reflected a lot on that, and if you look at Norway and Alaska, for example, we both have very long coastlines. The countries, I mean, Alaska is huge compared to Norway, but we have many of the same issues. Norway has the Gulf Stream, so we travel a lot with boats around the coast. In Alaska, you fly because of ice, and also the traffic or the flights north and south. In Norway, it goes north and south too, and that is how you do it in Alaska as well. Next one, I took this map with me. It's an old one, but it illustrates the differences between the Arctic countries as well. I like it because it tells us how we get around and what are the challenges when we have a project in the north and in the Arctic. It is logistics. How do we travel, and how do we get equipment from the project to the project area, and how do we get the merchandise to the markets? The reindeer herders talk about how they can get their food to the market, and it's the same for any project, I believe. That is really the biggest challenge for us. And you can also see the different colors. In Norway, it's really green because we have a lot of harbors. In Alaska, it's red, which illustrates the airports. And we all care about life below water, life on land, and the people who live there. And that's really what stakeholder engagement is about. And I think the system I learned that you have in Alaska is actually really thorough. And people approached me and said that, oh, in Norway, you do it so much better. But my experience is that, okay, if you got the Norwegian system, I don't think you would be happy. And vice versa, because the system is built, regulations are built based on the historic events that happen in the countries. And also it's different depending on how many people who live there. So it's some learnings that I had. I also, after I finished, when I went back to Norway, I started my own company and I got support from Innovation Norway, and I'm going to run a small workshop with you guys on the aquaculture case study. This digital tool that I've built, this is a screenshot. It should be fairly easy to use. It can work in any language. I can show you. And it initially started out as a stakeholder engagement tool, where later, for 2 years ago, we found that in Norway, the focus is on the UN global goals. And for example, life below water, which we had a whale tail as a symbol for, actually is the UN goal number 14. I know that in Alaska, you don't work much on the UN goals, but in Norway and in Europe and in many other places, it's really important to make to make sustainability reports where also that is included, that aspect. And I know, for example, that Alaska, you have many requirements on sustainability. And in Norway and in Europe, we would refer to the UN goals, and you would do it in text and writing. So it's also about translating between the ways we do things. I'll give you a workshop case. I'm just trying to move you guys. Can you see only the presentation? Yeah, okay. So I'll give you a workshop case today. You are a project leader, and the project is about the aquaculture, or we could, if you don't have, I mean, like in Alaska, you don't really have much aquaculture, but you could take any project. Imagine you are building a road or a sea route, airport or harbor, but I'll focus on the aquaculture area here. Wait a minute. So what are the issues? How would you make a sustainability report in a meaningful way? And which indicators are relevant? And for Norwegians and Europeans, it's important, how do you report on the UN goals? In Norway, I'll give you an example with aquaculture. Fish farming is the future of food production. It's rated as the food production that affects the environment the least if it's done right, is the finding of reports. I know people living around the farms. Some of them are really happy because it gives very interesting fish farms. In northern Norway, this is the picture. There are, it seems like a lot because the red dot stands out, and there's several. I mean, it makes quite an impact. So it's important that we do this in the right way and that we take the stakeholders in a meaningful way, and that they have a say in developing this further, because the ambition in Norway is to build many more fish farms. So how do we move the, especially this SDG button? I have it on my collar now, like this guy on top of the page. And today it's expected that you report and implement sustainability or the UN goals in your daily work. So what does that mean for business? That it's the focus on reporting on sustainability. And with regards to the UN goals, how do we report performance on 17 goals and 169 targets? How is that possible? And making a sustainability report, it's really important. Local knowledge matters to avoid costly surprises. If you're, this is the timeline, and if you're in the idea stage, a project hasn't detailed all the details, how the specifics aren't set. So a stakeholder can have influence. However, if you don't get the influence early enough, you could maybe move on to this, develop the project, but then you need to do changes when it's already decided what to do. And then lack of early dialogue with local stakeholders will make an impact on the costs of the business, and even make it stop the project. So this is why it's important for local stakeholders and also for business to do stakeholder engagement as early as possible. So what type of competences would you involve if you were a project leader? Maybe Christina, you could comment on that.
Karin, can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah. What type of competences do you use when you do stakeholder engagement, for example, in Alaska? I know that you have a lot of regulations, you have to do stakeholder engagement with civil society, and your environmental regulations are really strict.
So basically all of it, like you explained on the picture, you need to take in advance and talk to government. You need to talk and include the business side of it, but mainly policy regulations in Alaska are very strict, and you need to remember about the land owning. A lot of land owned in Alaska by native corporations, Alaska Native corporations. So you need to know who is the owner of the land and what this organization is trying to develop over there before you start even thinking about any projects.
That's a good reflection. To save time, I'll just move on to the next presentation and or next picture. And this is a screenshot from the dialogue tool. So what factors do affect a fish farm or a project that you're building? For example, if you should have a mine on land or build a port, how do you work on that? I'll see if this works. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Can you see the internet page of ARCT?
What do you mean by internet page?
I'll start sharing again with this. Okay. Here. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yeah. This is my web page where I have made this tool in Google Maps. I'll make it a bit shorter. So what we can do is we can have a project defined like an aquaculture project. And now I've placed the different issues in the pictures. We can press in and have a partnership for the goals, for example, and move it around and delete it in my tool. This is how it works. So if, for example, you look at life below water, I can score the different influences and make them red. I can also, for example, ask you, Vladimir, if you were going to, if you were going to rate this project, and you have picked a project where you need to get the merchandise, the fish, to the market. In Norway, we say that there's nothing who is in such a hurry that a dead fish. So what would you, how would you rate the challenges with, maybe I'll just do it without the challenges with the logistic of getting the merchandise, the fish, to the market? Could I ask you, Vladimir, please? You can't hear me? Maybe Christina.
Так,
Okay.
я слышу. Как бы вы доставили рыбу?
Yes, so the question is, how can I rate the difficulties with logistics?
Yes. How would you consider if you have a project and you are a participant in a workshop where you're going to discuss and dialogue with people? What are the challenges for your project and to find a solution. For example, would you say, usually I have prepared this in advance I picked the person that I know, so it's easier to communicate. But for example, you need a good road. You need the road. I know that you presented the UN goals and the villages close to the factory would need to take care of the kids going back and forth to school. The traffic should avoid, yeah, and things like that. So maybe I just. Yeah.
It's also, Karen, it's also a matter of conflicts with other things, right?
Yeah.
Because as we know, for example, in my country, in Iceland, when transportation of fish started to go to the roads, it started to affect other people, and especially when tourism increased, problems with small rental cars and with people that were not used to like passing a big truck in the middle of the night became more and more evident. And then, of course, it became stress on the road and maintenance, etc., etc. So many factors, right?
Yeah. And the same goes with tourism. Tourism is actually a good example that you have challenges of doing stakeholder engagement. And usually I use an hour and take some time and we discuss all the issues, and then we make a report at the end of the program where we identify the risk areas and make an executive summary. For example, that the project it can move forward, but with key mitigation actions in place. And then you can write in comments on for example, use of public road or tourist information. Yeah.
Karen, can I chime in?
Sure.
Yeah, and one thing I just note in your discussion of this is certainly this is perhaps different issues faced in a more developed country or community where you're using public roads. I know, for instance, on the projects on Sakhalin in the oil and gas industry, many roads were actually had to be built. And so a lot of the issues there, and this may in fact be more applicable to some Russian projects where roads may not exist or may not be paved roads. And so they may involve road improvements or construction of entirely new roads. Then you get into all of these issues. I'm looking at your map and I'm seeing some water crossings. You get into all of these issues of roads and how they're impacting on the fish runs up the rivers at any of these water crossings, and mitigating any potential environmental impacts on those water systems and the and the fish ecosystems in those rivers or streams.
Thank you, Derek. That's really a good comment. And also, if you have indigenous people in the area, this is a symbol for that. We also need to consider the cumulative effects of the project. Are their rights as right holders being affected? And you need to have a systematic approach to each of the stakeholder issues that surround the project. And my partners have said that if you have this in a map, it's easier to discuss all the factors that affect the project, and it's easier to do stakeholder engagement, because then you can have actually who are the stakeholders, and you can place them in a map and yeah. I have a colleague of mine, a dangerous person in the area. We can make a picture of them. We can have a logo or yeah. So it's I think I'll move on. I think I've showed you given you some ideas. I'll stop sharing. Maybe I'll share the last. It's difficult to go into a lot of details now with all of you guys sitting here, but the important thing, the important thing is that that we do it right, and I think it's really important that that we use time to do dialogue. And my logo is let's do it right, and I've included from shareholder value to stakeholder value. So let's be my close of the presentation today. So thank you.
Thank you, Karin, very much for your presentation. I now would like to pass a word to Alexey Sintsov, General Director of ZAO Ferment Company for deep processing of reindeer products. Alexey, the floor is yours.
Спасибо огромное, Владимир Николаевич.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Vladimir, for inviting me for this event. I'm very glad to see so many experts in Arctic issues. And I'm going to tell you just a sec. So here is my presentation. I am director of Ferment Company. So I am the second generation director from my family. So it was established by my father in 1991. So the purpose is to process reindeer raw materials. We started from antlers. And we were working on processing. So we are now involved in deep processing of reindeer raw materials. So today it is one of the largest Russian manufacturer in deep processing of reindeer raw materials. So and involved in production of biologically active additives. So our company today has ISO, HACCP, GMP certificates, and we have 15 products in production. So also we are involved in research on studying the pharmaceutical content of our products. And I'm going to talk about our products. So first of all, we work on extractions from reindeer products, which are then dried and then are used in other products. So Pantel is this concentrated substance from reindeer velvet antlers. And we have managed to develop good technology, and we are able to extract up to 38% of valuable elements. So we are working on this technology and improving it all the time. So this next product is defibrinated reindeer blood, which is called Himaline. So this is the source of iron, which is absorbed by human body very well. So the next product is collagen peptide complex, which is extracted in several ways from reindeer antlers. So it is used for restoration of the musculoskeletal system. And also we have freeze-dried reindeer meat, which has good characteristics in terms of nutrition and dietology.
Которые мы представляем из готовой продукции. Да, хотел бы отразить бы, если посмотрите на правую часть презентации.
So on the right, you see that we use this mini pallets technology. So which means the gradual absorption of these elements in human stomach. So we have a pantocrine product, which boosts your immunity. So it improves working ability, immunity, and psychological state. Ricadipan, the product in the middle, is aimed at athletes. So it includes the extracts from animals and also from plants. And another product is syrup. It's called pantogematogen. It is based on reindeer blood and also extraction from antlers. So the next line is collagen complexes. On the right, you can see these sachets, which dissolve in warm water or juice. And on the left, you see it in the capsules. When the elements are dissolved in the intestines, and we have the gel in the middle for external application. So you just apply it on the joints and tissues.
Еще одна линейка — это у нас повышение гемоглобина на основе гемолена.
Another line is to increase the hemoglobin level. So we have it in different forms as powders and capsules. And we have in the middle, you have these bars for children, which provides the daily demand in iron for kids. And the other one is for adults.
Конечно, мы не обошли стороной мужское здоровье, значит, сделали.
Of course, we work on men's health and longevity.
повышение либидо, ну и вообще качество жизни мужчин.
So increases vitality, enhances libido. So they all have the accumulative effect. So these biologically active substances are accumulated in human body. So another product is ferro-K-GPO. So we take the liver from calves and we make extractions and so we add it to cellulose again, and this helps the regeneration of liver cells. And this product has proved to be effective.
Также у нас есть линейка больнологии, это пантовые ванны.
Also, we have a line for balneology, for baths. So it includes elements of blood and also extractions from antlers. So at home, you can have like spa procedures at home or in sanatoriums. And our final line is makeup, cosmetic products. So on the right, you can see the cream for skin, face cream, and on the left, the hand cream.
По лицу могу сказать следующее, что лифтинг, подтяжки и так далее. Ну, основной...
So it has healing and lifting effects and removes pigmentation.
Ну и, безусловно, мы продолжаем изучение продукции.
And so we are continuing our research. We don't hurry. We mostly use our own funds. But we have some partners in the academia, and we study the pharmaceutical effects of the use of our products. So now we are working on this sub-industry in reindeer husbandry. So our main idea is to add value to reindeer products due to deeper processing. Thank you for your attention. I'm going to share the link to the presentation, and I am ready to answer your questions. There is a question in the chat how the Canadians can buy your products. It's a very good question. So we are looking for international partners for the distribution of our products. And so if you are interested, we can send parcels, but of course we would like to consider larger volumes. So the question here in the beginning was how we can help each other. Yes, we can help each other with technologies, and I would be really interested in joint research. Though we say that we are one of the largest manufacturers, but in Yakutia also there is, for example, tobacco company, and they work actively on research, and so joint scientific research with Russian institutions and international institutions will be of interest. And yes, we are also looking for partners to share our technologies or to share our products. We are open to any kind of cooperation.
Thank you. Thank you, Alexey, for your presentation. I think it will be a lot of interest to some of the Alaska companies for sure, and we can connect with you maybe after this meeting and see how I can assist you here finding partners in North America for sure. And I will leave my email address in the chat box for everybody, but also Vladimir Vasilyev knows all my contacts, so if anybody needs to contact me, I would be happy to help. Next on our agenda, we have Tatiana Federi, Vice President of the Union Chamber of Commerce and Industry of the Mormons region.
Yes, good evening, dear colleagues. I'm very glad to have this opportunity to participate in this meeting. So first of all, I would like to ask, is it okay to hear me?
It's okay, we can hear you fine.
Very good. Then I will try to demonstrate my presentation. Well, yes. Well, so I would like to tell a little bit about experience of Chamber of Commerce and Industry in developing Arctic projects. Chamber of Commerce and Industries of the Murmansk region is a part of big Arctic community. So we are cooperating with the Chambers of Commerce of Finland, Norway, Sweden, and we have in 1989 the first cooperation agreement with Lapland Chamber of Commerce. In 1996, we have started to be initiated together with the Chamber of Lapland of Finland, initiated to create the Euro-Arctic Chamber of Commerce. And we would like that time to join our efforts to promote and develop business relations in Arctic and also business infrastructure in the Barents region. So nowadays, the Euro-Arctic Chamber of Commerce included chambers from the northern territories of Russia and also Scandinavian countries. So these are Archangel CCI, CCI of Republic Karelia, Komi Republic, as well chambers of commerce of Lapland and all of Finland, chambers of commerce Norrbotten and Västerbotten, Sweden, chambers of commerce of province Tromsø and Finnmark, Norway. As a part of existing Arctic community, we have a lot of contacts, and we are trying to serve our foreign business partners with services which will help to develop international activity. So, and these are certification and insurance of documents related to foreign economic activity. Different kind of expertises, such as like foreign economic expertise, customs expertise, definition of goods origin country, conducting socio-economic researches, surveys, questionnaires among business communities on issues related to implementation of foreign economic activity. Also, we're providing with visas and B2B meetings, different kind of international business meetings, missions, and so on. And one part of our international activity is also participation in international projects on different kind of international financial programs, such as like cross-border cooperation Galactic project program, and for instance, International Barring Secretariat Finance. So we have quite big experience in developing international projects, and an example of such one can be Galactic, the last one, actually, Galactic food refining project. So this is 3 years project in food refining, and this project actually combines quite big number of partners from different regions. We have business partners, actually 11 partners from Murmansk region, Archangel region, sorry, not Nenetsky Okrug, and Finland, Finnish Lapland. And we have combination of business partners and combination of coordinating partners. The project objective to develop of the processing of venison and wild berries in Finnish Lapland, the Murmansk region, and the Nenetsky Autonomous Okrug. We aimed at creation of new food products of venison and berries, development of venison offal and berry, and increasing the image of venison in the markets. We are also assisting to our project partners to export dairy products, reindeer meat, and products to European Union. And also we are joining our efforts in marketing and organizing product sales in Russia, Finland, and Sweden. If to talk what methods we are using in the project development, it's training of the specialists of reindeer in meat refining, and project and training also the project partners. We also provide our companies with financial and technical support, investments to the necessary equipment, to our productional partners. And also we organize in different kind of training courses to develop new products, and organize also programs for its marketing. We also trying to improve the image of reindeer meat, because it's not traditionally everywhere in our regions, but this is very healthy, and we would like to promote it much more wider. Also, we are trying to create the base for joint promotion of venison and dairy products to of the project partners, and we are working out right now a common brand. And we hope that this project actually it's a 3 years project. And we hope that when we will finish, so we will have fairly good results. and of course, cooperation based between the partners in import-export of the produced products. So, and here you see some results, some taste results of our products and practical results. So one of our partners in frame of our project have started to produce jams from the local berries, and it's absolutely nothing flavor and very delicious. And we have also practical delicious results from reindeer project partners, and this is different kind of goods made of reindeer. And here you see also a very famous Finnish dish, karistus, which is very popular in Finland, and not only Finland, also Norway. And our specialists been taught how to do this practically. I should say that this is just one example of Collagen project, which finance we are using now, but really we have great experience in Collagen projects previously, and we are going to participate in the future, also trying to support the ideas which are important for businesses at our market. Yes, and some few words about project budget and financing. So as I told, this is 3 years project, and it should be finished in October 2021. But because of very serious delay of the project because of pandemic, so we actually intend to prolong this project till May 2022. So the total budget is over €2.5 million, and this is, you see, the combined project finance. So this is European Union finance, Finland, Russian Federation, and partners' contribution. So actually, Chamber of Commerce is also start to be the stakeholder for making recommendations for the new Collagen project program for the new period 2021-2027. And we hope that the direction of development food technology will be continuing during the next period of this program. Also, I would like to present you another our long-term project. This is quite different from the previous. And we are doing international conference, mining industry in the Barents Euro-Arctic region. So this year it's called View to the Future, and it's devoted to digital transformation of the Russian mining and development of Arctic territories. And I would like just to give you this information and to ask you if it's not your topic for interest, please transfer this information to the partners who can be interested in. So I would like also to say that we are trying to develop different kind of international projects, and we are trying to use different sources for finance. And in this case, we also working with International Barents Secretariat, and we have many cooperation partners in Norway. And for instance, the example of the projects which we have developed just several years ago is Arctic food development project. And nowadays we are also developing the project concerning the instruments of cooperation in the changed pandemic situation. So I think that this direction, cooperation, project cooperation between the partners, it's very important in developing Arctic communities. So I'm finished. Thank you for your attention. If you have some questions, you are welcome.
Great, thank you, Tatiana. Very interesting. Thank you for your presentation, and thanks to all our excellent speakers today. I know we're a little over time, but I don't want us to leave just yet. If we can spend a couple more minutes and ask questions to the speakers and maybe have a short dialogue at least. Please email organizers your presentations, speakers, your presentations, so we can share them with today's meeting's participants. We received a lot of requests for the copies of presentations of today's speakers. Right now, if we can spend maybe 5 to 10 minutes and ask any questions we have for the speakers or any comments you would like to add to today's topic. Today's topic is economic opportunities for Arctic communities, reputation and partnership buildings, how we can build the opportunities for all of us to work together. And I know first word I want to give to Mark Dudley, as he wanted to add to flight information between Kamchatka and Alaska, and then from Mark we'll have questions. Mark, please keep your comments very brief, as we want some questions to be raised today. Thank you.
Okay, great. Can you hear me, Christina?
We can hear you fine.
Okay, great. I just wanted to reassure Paul that our company, Inter-Pacific Aviation, is still planning to operate the flights this summer in partnership with Yakutia Airlines. We're making all the arrangements, and the flights would be weekly on Mondays in July and August. The problem is that our efforts are hindered by some factors beyond our control, as you can imagine, the ongoing course of COVID, and specifically travel restrictions that are still in place, and the fact that US and Russian consulates are still not issuing routine tourist visas. So the situation is rapidly changing, and we're standing by to launch ticket sales as soon as circumstances permit. I wanted to add that travelers are concerned about the situation. Some big tour groups have already canceled, but those who comprise perhaps the largest share of our client base, fly fishermen and Americans of Russian heritage, are still enthusiastic about coming and can come on relatively short notice. But the big issue is visas and travel restrictions.
Okay, sounds good, Mark. Thank you. Do we have any questions to our speakers?
Да, у нас, в принципе, время есть. Zoom принадлежит Северному форуму.
Yes, well, we have time for discussion. We have this opportunity with Zoom. The presentations are really interesting, and I think that we have all learned a lot. And I really hope that we will continue with real cooperation between all of us. And I think that Christina said at the beginning that our meetings will be monthly. Every month we are planning to organize one meeting. So we will be very glad to receive some proposals on the future topics for our discussions and meetings. And together with Christina, we will try to find and invite relevant experts and speakers. And we also ask you to tell us about your colleagues who could join us. and please disseminate the information about our cycle of meetings, because we could make our cooperation even more useful. So again, if you have any questions or comments, the microphone is open. У меня вот есть, может быть, не вопрос, Татьяна Федери. Если это
for person who've been participating today, emails, telephones, and so on, just to have afterwards direct contact, because there were a lot of interesting topics, and of course to continue to ask maybe detailed questions directly.
That's a great request, Tatiana. I can't just share everybody's contact information without asking. What I will do, I will probably circulate email to everybody and ask for the permission to share, and whoever gives me the permission to share, I will add them to the list and try to share them among the group.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
То же самое по Северному форуму. Разошлем все.
The same is true for the Northern Forum. We will disseminate all contact information, and of course we will make a brief report where we will add the list of participants with contacts so that you could establish some direct links. Yeah.
Well, actually, first of all, I would like to address to foreign participants of our tonight's meeting, maybe to today's meeting. Well, because actually I'm very much preoccupied of the issue how Arctic businesses could cooperate with each other. What are business ideas? Well, I'm very glad, I was very glad to hear about real plans regarding air connection between Kamchatka and Alaska. I'm just absolutely happy about that. This is a real issue, which I hope will be realized. What are business ideas? What can we do among Arctic business communities to strengthen our cooperation? Because I said quite provocatively, because, well, that we need basically two things: exchange of experiences, how we cooperate with our own governments, and exchange of just business ideas, what we invented, like Alexei Osintsev told about full utilization of reindeer. Well, this might be really interesting. Further on, what could be other examples? And I know that Derek Norberg is a very inventive guy. Halldor Johansson has a lot of information about business ideas, and Icelanders, so the life of Iceland made them very inventive people, inventive like businessmen. Tatiana didn't tell, because of lack of time, about excellent seminar regarding Arctic cuisine, which was organized by Mormons Chamber of Commerce together with our Icelandic friends. It was a really great Icelandic, one of the greatest Icelandic chefs was invited. He had made a real sensation about Icelandic Arctic cuisine. I'm sure that our friends from Alaska and Canada could tell a lot about issues like that. Well, so we need really more information, more ideas, what we could cooperate about. And what Alexei Osintsev told about his experiences, I saw in the chart that his products got evoke interest from Canadians. Well, and another issue, how such things can be sold in Canada, in US, in Scandinavia. Well, because there might arise some technical issues how to sell such things. And I remember my contacts with in Norway with Anders Oskal and Professor Mathisen, and we've been discussing that reindeer meat is in fact not only very special, but it's really absolutely pure ecologically, and it should have some special trade regime in trade between in international trade. That might be a kind of issue for WTO organization, like because reindeer husbandry is an example of absolutely clean and multifunctional agriculture in a way. That is also an issue which can be discussed. Well, just some brief comments. That was it.
Christina, can I say a few words?
Absolutely, go ahead, Haldor.
Well, thank you, Dimitri. Very strong and good input, and thank you all for really good presentations. I totally agree with you, Dimitri, and what you said, and what we have been planning with the Northern Forum and in terms of what we call a business directory, I think is very, well, I think it's the most important thing right now, because it sort of spins in my head what the chair of the Arctic Economic Council said at an SAO meeting maybe a month ago, and Vladimir was attending there too, virtually, of course. He said that he has been spending most of his time on correcting the Arctic image or supporting the Arctic image. And I think that's one of the things that we can definitely work on together. And what Vladimir also mentioned, made in the Arctic, the branding of the value, the quality of the reindeer, the fish, the lamb, Icelandic lamb is another thing, etc., etc. And I know you've also told me, and we have discussed in the past, about how we have been able to share knowledge, for example, in the fishing industry. Norwegians are specialists in aquaculture, and they're now teaching Icelanders actually about that, and they could probably do the same in Kamchatka, etc., etc. And probably they are. So we need to have a venue for sharing the knowledge, because not everybody's looking to the Arctic as we sometimes think. And there's also been studies made. There was a study made by the Danish Foreign Ministry a couple of years ago, and one of the most important things is funding and being able to help establishing companies in the Arctic, entrepreneurship, etc. So long-term focused funding is very much a key, and we are very much lacking that. So I've seen some of the new changes in Russia. I think they're very interesting. We're also seeing changes here in Iceland. I think we can probably look towards the COVID as a certain opportunity. And yeah, I look forward to it. It's not going to be easy, but with joining forces and getting the chambers of commerce more involved, I think we really have an opportunity. And I agree with you, Anders and Svein are really intriguing guys, and some of the ideas that I am actually fortunate enough to be helping them with now on how to export the reindeers from the different parts of the Arctic is really intriguing. So I think you hit all the right spots, but hopefully we will see more of you in supporting us in moving this forward.
Well, for instance, just one very short comment, because everybody is talking about Mediterranean products, Mediterranean cuisine. I'm strongly convinced that Arctic cuisine is absolutely not worse, but basically, in my taste, it's more tasty, more fantastic than Mediterranean. Arctic cuisine must be really a brand, and all Arctic nations have something to contribute with.
Absolutely.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Haldor, for your excellent comments. I agree on improving and branding, how it's important to building the reputation of the company, of your organization, of your idea, of your project in the Arctic, and get the partners on it, because basically you cannot build anything yourself, as you know, in the Arctic without the partners. That's important. And also, I heard many times, multiple times today, Oscar's name, Swain's name. So Isa, you have to pass the message and tell them they have to be here next month.
They have to be a part of this meeting. We would like to hear from them as well.
This is Paul Foose. If I could make just a brief comment here. I really like how we talked today about regional cooperation, but I think that a lot of what we're trying to do here also has some national implications. We can't get visas if they're canceling the consulates, if they're canceling air travel, then how do we work together? So we're coming up on the chairmanship of the Russian chairmanship of the Arctic Council. And from what I understand, the focus is really sustainable development, similar to this. So perhaps our next session or one of these sessions could really focus on how we can interface with them. And Vladimir, I know you've been speaking some with them, and I think it'd be a very good topic for us to say, you know, these normalization of diplomatic relations, you know, should be established so that we can cooperate in the Arctic. We're not going to solve the issue of Crimea between Petropavlovsk and Anchorage, okay? But we ought to be able to work together. We shouldn't allow other issues to be used as an excuse for us to not cooperate in the Arctic. So perhaps, you know, this could be a focus of one of our next hearings of what we might want to move forward as the Northern Forum group, or even this business group, to the Arctic Council to say, this is what we need for our people to be able to work together.
Да, Пол, я могу скомментировать ваше
Yes, Paul, I can make some comments on your proposal. Yes, of course, it is very important to all of us to establish or like restore our business communication. Online meetings are great, but when we meet in person, we can solve much more issues and in more efficient ways. And I would like to inform you that on April 21, on behalf of the Northern Forum, I will be speaking at the panel discussion of the Arctic Council with the observers. Only 3 observers have been invited, and the Northern Forum is honored to be one of the speakers. And at this meeting, I can raise this issue because we will convene the representatives of all Arctic countries. And I think that we will try to discuss how the countries could help us to restore our connections. And when the chairmanship will pass to the Russian Federation, each observer will have a right to show a short video observer statement to the ministerial meeting. And in this video clip, we can also include this proposal. So the Northern Forum is ready to do everything possible to restore and boost the business cooperation between our countries. Of course, yes, we have all these restrictions, but I think that they could be overcome. And we would be very pleased to see all of you at our events. I know that on April 2022, the University of North, where Andrei Kazakov works, will organize High North Conference on business in the Arctic and on youth involvement. And we have a lot of events, and it's good to see the representatives of all these events. And you can see in my background that I have
So I'm changing
put the logo
my
of Northern
background so
Sustainable
that
Development Forum, and
attract
all these
you to
sustainable
the
development
Northern
goals
Sustainable
are
Development Forum.
reflected in this
So
northern
in
lights
late
on
September, we will
our
be glad to
logo.
see you here
And
in
at the end of
Yakutsk.
September, we
So
will
the
be
main
very
topic
glad to
will be the
see.
change climate and permafrost. And in this regard, we are very interested in the ethos statement on how reindeer husbandry is surviving under the climate change. We know that globally we are witnessing the decrease in the reindeer population, and Karen's presentation will be also very relevant at our forum. Last year we had over 2,500 participants, and we expect as much this year. So that's why your voice will be heard globally. So we are trying to work on providing the platform for you. So Ekaterina Safronieva is in charge for the youth Northern Forum. So there are 20 of us here, but we all are leading experts in our countries, and if we join our efforts, we can do something really significant. So that's why I am calling for cooperation and your active involvement in our meetings. So invite your colleagues, your partners, your friends to join with their ideas to our meetings. So that was just a brief comment. So do we have more comments or questions?
A couple words to Paul's comments, and then we have a raised hand from Andrei Krivorotov. So Paul, that's great. Thank you for your comments for additional topics for next meetings. Unfortunately, you missed the previous last month's Zoom call where we were discussing exactly the same ideas for the topics. And we talked about the cooperation with Arctic Council and Arctic Economic Council, how the question of normalization of diplomatic relationship between Russia and US can be raised. And we talked to Vladimir Vasilyev, of course, of raising this question and raising those comments to the Arctic Council through Northern Forum. We also mentioned the need for the Arctic business plan. I think Haldor mentioned that we are all talking about cooperation and exchange of great ideas, but we do need a common business plan for all of us to work together on. I just wanted to let you know that we were talking about this and we'll continue talking about that. So Andrei Krivorotov, you have a question, please.
Thank you very much, Christina. It was rather a brief remark. I would say that I totally support whatever was told by my friends, Haldor, Dmitry, and Vladimir, and I couldn't agree more with Paul. Thank you, Paul. It's a real pleasure to meet you and hear you. What I wanted to add was actually a couple of points. First, I don't know, I missed the two previous Zooms, unfortunately, but I don't, maybe you have already discussed the issue of telecom, of trans-Arctic telecommunication lines. If you haven't, I think it's definitely a very worthwhile exercise because they don't just merely kind of connect the whole of the Arctic together, they also give unprecedented opportunities for local Arctic communities, either both big ones or small ones, and the Arctic businesses, both big ones and small and medium-sized enterprises, to communicate in a much better way than they do, and actually bringing them to the global market in an unprecedented way. So I think it's a very important point, which is a topic which is common for all the Arctic regions. And my other point is, since specifically I have worked for Gazprom for the last 18 years, including the 13 years for the Stockholm project in the Russian Arctic, I can't help supporting the idea of a Arctic Energy Forum in Russia. I do remember that it was originally an idea raised by, I think, the American presidency, and then very strongly supported by the ongoing Icelandic one. And I think really we should arrange this as a very major multilateral event, capitalizing very heavily on all the previous work which was done during the previous presidencies, and make that a big event. And when we're talking about Arctic energy, we should not just think about big oil and gas or huge wind farm projects, which are very popular now, but also on local decentralized generation and solutions, because really that's what is needed by very many remote settlements, and that's an area where both big and small business can do their part of the job and where they can cooperate very actively. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I would like to add to your comment about Arctic Energy Summit. Yes, you're right. It was raised many years ago by US and Russian president. And the first summit like this was organized on the platform together with the Arctic Council in Alaska, I think in 2011. Then we had 2013 in Iceland, Halldor, if I can remember that right, or 2015 with Halldor's organization, Arctic Portal. And then was it back to Alaska, then in Finland, and now it's time for Russia. And I'm glad to hear that Northern Forum and Arctic Portal will be doing it together in 2023. Is that right, Vladimir?
Okay. Yeah, spring 23, that's the plan. And most likely in conjunction with an SAO meeting, hopefully.
So that would be, do we know where yet?
No, not yet. No, not yet.
Not yet.
Hopefully very soon. Vladimir is working on it.
Please keep us posted on that. I see the raised hand for Isa, you have questions?
Мы будем вас держать в курсе. Здесь...
Of course, we are going to keep you posted. Maxim is here, and together with the Ministry on the Arctic Development and the Ministry of Industry of Russia, we will keep you posted. So I think it will be decided quite shortly. So in late April, we are having the Northern Forum General Assembly, and we are going to discuss all the events we are in charge of, and we are going to discuss the regions which will host. So I think in May or June, we are going to have the initial information.
Isa?
Yes, no, I just wanted to talk about this cooperation between the Arctic nations to like comment to Dmitry, I guess it is.
Sure.
There was this corporation, slaughtering corporation in Murmansk that wanted to sell reindeer meat to Norway. Here, I don't remember the name of the company. I think its leader is Andrei Dubostev, something like that. His name is. But I think this is will try the prices down on reindeer meat. I think it would be much better to slaughtering facilities to work together in both Scandinavia and Russia to sell their meat towards China, because that I think will increase the price of reindeer. Because I saw on the news last week, I think it was that in Brazil they were cutting down more of the rainforest because of the increased need for meat in China, consumption of meat in China. So the rainforest is being cut down in Brazil because that enabled to making agricultural food. So I think that the market towards China on reindeer meat, since reindeer meat is such a small meat production, toward against beef, it would be, I think, that is a cooperation between the Arctic countries or between slaughtering facilities in the Arctic countries to work towards getting a market into China. Thank you. That was all.
I just would like to make some comments. So I'm not sure actually that it is possible to export meat from Russia to China, because it's, if I'm not mistaken, I should check it again, But 1 year ago, I read it that it's prohibited to export meat to China from Russia, and including reindeer meat.
But
Maybe we can change that.
On all products, whether it's fish or meat, it has to be licensed. So it's a process, but it's very possible. And if it's worked on together, then it's basically a process.
Okay, so I will check, because it's a list of it was a list of goods which are not accepted from Russia to China, and I remember that it was meat in there, raw meat. It means raw meat, but I will check. Yeah.
Да, Татьяна, да, там есть некоторые ограничения пока.
Yes, there are some limits there, but I'm sure that the Russian Federation and the People's Republic of China are working on this issue. Quite recently, Foreign Minister Lavrov visited China and the Republic of Korea, and I'm sure they have discussed these questions, because these limitations, they hit the Russian Far East industry. So there is a lot to work on. So Heilongjiang province used to be an active member of the Northern Forum, and we are working on their return, and along with other Chinese provinces. So we are working with the Association of Southeastern Asian countries, and I think that we will be able to discuss these issues on the regional level. And we invite our Chinese colleagues to our sessions, and they actually were present at the previous session. And I think that we can raise this issue again. So ISA's proposal is very good to join the efforts of smaller reindeer producing companies. And yes, and it also involves the development of the Northern Sea route. So these are all interrelated issues.
And then closing comments, I see raised hand from Alexey Asintsev. Alexey?
Да, как бы сказали, закончим, все замолчали.
Я бы...
А так все хотели поговорить.
Я бы хотел бы дополнить.
I would like to add regarding China. So we are working on entering China, and starting from '96, we actually have been cooperating with China in terms of antlers. And along with the Ministry of Agriculture, we are working on the opening the direct export of antlers for the pharmaceutical industry. And we are working with our Chinese partners on reindeer meat, actually. So we are discussing this, and these issues are raised with the Ministry of Agriculture and on the international level. So just for your reference. Very good. So new topics are arising for our next topics. So the connection between the Arctic and Asia is quite topical, and again, we see the need for better diplomatic relations, for better economic cooperation. And another topic is made in the Arctic brand. So we have already topics for April, May, and June, and we can invite more participants to organize a brainstorm and to bring our comments to our national governments. Good. So, Christina.
The topics for the next months, and especially in a time of Russia upcoming chairmanship for the Arctic Council. You're right, Northern Forum can be our eyes and ears and the voice raised over there, so we can help to improve the partnership and cooperation and get as much business ideas made reality in the next 2 years, basically. So I would like to thank you for all of your time today. Thanks for staying with us over time. That was very important. Special thank you to Vladimir Vasilyev, as always, and the Northern Forum and our interpreters. And a very special thank you to all wonderful speakers today. It was very informative, great presentations and discussions, and a lot more to come. This is very exciting. Today, we had over 25 participants from 6 Arctic countries. We had 6 Arctic countries to represented here, heard and talked, which is great, it's amazing. With the agenda for today, we sent out a list of proposed topics for future meetings and discussions. If you have interest and or ideas for any other topics you want us to add to the list, please send them to me or to Vladimir. We would be happy to do so. With all of us being all over the world and growing participants every month, we will be rotating our meeting time from month to month to accommodate as many interested as possible. So our next meeting will be scheduled for the end of April. Maybe April 28, 29, we'll discuss with Vladimir which day we'll choose, but will be scheduled for a different time of the day. We will be sending more details soon about that. Please pay attention to your email. If you would like to speak during our next meeting, April or May meeting, please email Vladimir or me and let us know. We would like to hear from you. Also, if you would like to be on the networking list for our next meetings and news about this project, please let me know or Vladimir know so we can add you to the list and make sure you receive all the information about next Arctic business relations Zoom calls. I left my email in the chat box, but also we will be emailing you the information about the next meeting soon, and Vladimir has all of my information and I have all of his information if you need, so please let us know if you have any questions. Again, thank you very much for taking your time today for great conversations. We are looking forward to talking with you next month. Thank you, spasiba, and kuyanakpak. We will talk to you next month.
Yes, thanks for the meeting. Bye-bye.
Спасибо.
Thank you.
Спасибо
Bye, everybody.
всем. Thank you to
Ha det bra,
everybody.
allesammen.
Ha det bra. Ha det bra,
Skoro
allesammen.
Ha det skikkelig bra.
Ja, nyt påsken.
Det var kämpehyggligt.
Да.
Ja.
На Ютубе будет запись. На Ютубе будет запись нашей встречи.
There will be the recording of our meeting on YouTube.
Ja. Savner dere alle sammen. Ha det
Night,
bra.
somebody, good day.
Miss you all. Bye bye.
Bye bye.